Welcome back to the 21 Boom guided meditation series. And this is your host and your guide for the evening, Coach Zach Feeney. So, without further ado, take your seat, however is comfortable, and gently close your eyes. Take a moment to reflect on how difficult or easy it is to set aside this time to practice. Did you almost not get here today? And as you begin the session, just form the intention to honor this space you're creating in your life. Once again, this might only be minutes of the day, or maybe several days running, where you deliberately pay attention to the nature of your own mind, setting aside every other purpose. This is something you can get much better at doing, but it generally takes practice. And then begin to feel the sensations of just sitting. Feel the heaviness and tension, heat or cold, movement or vibration. And in an instant, let all of this resolve itself as a cloud of sensation, and then just notice whatever appears. And if you have any discomforts in your body, you can move to try to relieve it. Just pay attention to all of that. The sensation, the not liking, the intention to move, the moving. Or you can just resolve to sit with the unpleasant sensation itself and see if you can truly rest your mind in equanimity and merely pay attention. Just notice that consciousness is the condition in which everything is appearing, pleasant and unpleasant, gross or subtle. And as you pay attention to sensations in the body and to the breath and to sounds, notice if there's any mood present coloring your perception of these things. What does your mind feel like in this moment? And take that too as an object in consciousness. Consciousness is simply the lights in which anything is seen. Taking your situation in an instant. Feel the next breath. Drop your plans and just rest your mind wide open. And there's nothing to think about. You might think, I feel peaceful. Drop all of those concepts. Stop keeping score and simply notice the next appearance, a sound, a thought. And understand that the goal here is not to change your state. Rather, it's to notice how consciousness is already in itself, already free of its contents. Simply rest as that condition in which everything is appearing. If your attention feels too diffuse, pay attention to the next 3 breaths precisely and drop all efforts. In the last minute of the session, let your mind grow as wide as possible. Drop all effort and just receive whatever perceptions or sensations or thoughts arise to be noticed. Simply pay attention as though this were the first moment of your practice. Well, once again, thank you for your practice. That you're doing this really matters, whether or not it always seems like it does. Before you get up and go to the next thing you're about to do, take a moment to think about someone in your life who's important to you. Just imagine what it would be like to be a little bit better in maintaining your side of that relationship. You could be a little bit happier, a little bit less judgmental, a little bit freer to simply enjoy that other person's company, a little bit less self absorbed, less distracted by your own thoughts and anxieties. And realize then that you're practicing also for that person, for that relationship. You're really trying to improve your mental health so that you can be a better friend or parent or spouse. And you might take a moment to feel grateful to have the opportunity to do that and that you've taken it. I hope it's clear that the experience you're having here is not divorced from the rest of your life. There's nothing that you're doing here. There's no state that you are producing that by definition excludes any other experience. The goal here is to make certain features of consciousness obvious so that they can be obvious in other moments in your life, when you're relating to other people or driving in traffic or worrying about something that happened at work. Your mind is always with you, and what we're developing here are a range of insights into what it's like before it becomes cluttered by concepts and judgments and reactions and other contractions in consciousness. There are questions that organize our lives, whether we ever ask them or not, and here's one. How is it possible that matter gives rise to consciousness? And you may never have thought about this, and if you have, you may go years without thinking about it again. But this question lies at the heart of everything that you care about. Consciousness is all you have. It's all you are as a matter of experience. It's what makes the people you love worth loving, and it's what makes your failure to love so tragic. It's what puts the sting in every missed opportunity. It is the substance of every joy and every sorrow. It is the wind that blows towards sanity or away towards madness. And whatever the state of our bodies, consciousness is the real boundary between life and death. To lose consciousness permanently, as in a vegetative state, is to leave the world before you leave it. And it is possible to have a body without consciousness. It is possible to have consciousness without a body. Or is it possible to have consciousness without a body? Well, yes. In a way, there's a condition called locked-in syndrome where a perfectly intact conscious mind can become the prisoner of a body that can't move. You should read Jean de Montaigne-Bobby's the Diving Bell and the Butterfly, which is a very moving memoir of this condition. But can bodies and minds separate even further? For instance, is something like the Matrix possible? It seems possible, but of course things could go wrong even there, a glitch in your code, and it could be possible to suffer locked-in syndrome even in the Matrix. If consciousness is the result of some immaterial process, some immortal soul that is integrated with the clockwork of the brain, then death really would be an illusion, and then there would be nothing to fear from it, except for everything that could happen to a conscious mind after death. And many of us have learned to doubt the picture of consciousness given to us by religion. We have come to believe that if the universe is stranger than we suppose, or even stranger than we can suppose, it's not the corny place of provincial wish fulfillments and superstition and taboo that we find. Whatever the explanation for consciousness is, it might always seem like a miracle. And for what it's worth, I think it probably will always seem like a miracle. We may learn to ignore this miracle and to produce conscious machines that no longer seem strange to us. Many of us will wonder whether this is the right thing to do, or worry about what our ethical obligations are to machines that can suffer or be deprived of happiness. The phrase robot rights will no longer be confined to science fiction. And what will human rights be in a world populated by sentient machines, especially ones that demonstrate superhuman intelligence and creativity, and even moral clarity? I think we will one day need to face these questions, and will our children be given a choice to back up their conscious minds in the cloud? And how will this be different from duplicating their minds and their experiences, and therefore creating other beings that could suffer? Questions of this kind entirely depend on the question we started with. How is it possible that matter gives rise to consciousness? What was it like to be a dinosaur as a giant asteroid came crashing down in the Gulf of Mexico 65 million years ago? How bad is life for a pig or a cow on one of our factory farms? Not how bad does it seem from the outside, how bad is it from the inside for those who live it? How happy would you be in a new relationship or in a new job, or if you had children? These are questions about consciousness and its contents. Everything we care about or can care about, and everyone who can care in turn. This entire reality is given its substance by the fact of consciousness. Consciousness is the most important thing in the universe. I would even say it's the only important thing in the universe, because it's the carrier of all value, actual and possible. And whatever its relationship is to the physics of things, it's the one thing that cannot be an illusion, however confused you are right now. Whatever you know or don't know, whether or not you're already in the matrix or in a dream or in some other way distant from the base layer of reality, the fact that it's like something to be you is the fact of consciousness. And it's the one thing that can never be in doubt. And it's this reality in each moment that awaits your attention. You can either notice the nature of your experience clearly, really clearly, or you can be lost in thought in each moment. Thought will tend to capture you and lull you to sleep. And the practice of meditation is to notice this more and more and then to wake up.